Hello there, and welcome to the most famous matchup in Company of Heroes competitive history. You're looking at the Sunday Night Fight Season 4 champion, the Warpaint champion, and of course the Operation Charlie Fox champion. That's a 3-time world champion of this game series. And I'm joined today by none other than my venerable casting colleague, Stormless. Who does he find in the north?
Well, in the north, he's up against another prolific tournament cup holder, and Love Nest. Just saying the name, just because that's enough hype as it is. Love Nest, of course, having won a fair amount of tournaments of his own, everything from ESL, Grand Championship Series 2, I mean, like, World Championships all over. Love Nest is a fantastic player. We see him immediately going in with German Infantry Doctrine. We saw him clear the last series, first game, playing as Austere with this, and this is going to be a fantastic game. I'm so excited I can barely speak right now.
That sounds like an exaggeration. You're talking fine, Stormless, but I'm joking, of course. This map is a cracker. It's Mill Road, designed by Ricky Rifle, and also a lot of the community that helped him along the way. Probably one of the most kind of credited map I've ever seen in the description. It's a cracker, though, a real good tournament blitz map where you just have to play quick, fast, frenetic, and fierce. Otherwise, you'll get taken off guard yourself. It's a great map. And we reset the scores to 0-0 in this best of 3 quarterfinals matchup. We're primed for a fantastic series, basically.
On the point of this map, and it is a beautiful map, and it's haunting, because a lot of Company of Heroes 2 maps don't do what this map does, and this, I think, aptly displays the kind of environmental damage, the ambient damage, the damage to wildlife, landscape that happened during the war. You see that here. I see things here that you don't see in other maps, like, so it's an interesting map. It's interesting to the eye. Things are on fire. Massive credit to Ricky Rifle for such a great job in this map.
It's got some cool Easter eggs as well, little snipers' nests, guard towers that you can actually utilise to peek out over hedgerows. Of course, it's got the famous bridge you can hide underneath. And let's focus on the game, though. Of course, these players last played in Master League Tournament 1, I want to say, which, of course, was Mannliebner Weimar, the big double elimination tournament back in May. And there was a little bit of controversy, unfortunately, for DevM. He had a bug where... I think it was Love Nest, actually. Love Nest had a bug where his units couldn't pick up team weapons anymore, so they had to have a replay. And DevM, who was winning, went on to lose the overall series. So a little bit of controversy there. Both players proving when on form they can beat one another. Now let's focus on the tactics. What do we see with the WC51 down?
No, WC51, of course, just upgraded there. And this is a key unit as part of the mechanized strategy. It is going to be just fierce, going around the map, doing all the damage it can right now to the Grenadiers with the aim of getting a huge manpower hit to Love Nest in the early game.
Could actually get a squad wipe here. Indeed, he's pursuing Stormless. This is cracking.
This would be huge, actually, in the early game. You do not want to be rebuilding squads at the start, and it looks as though it probably had enough health to get away there, fortunately, for Love Nest. And, when we look at this, mechanized for the USF against German infantry for Austere, we are looking at the game's current 1v1 dominant meta strategies for these factions. And we're going to see it played by some of the best players in the game. I mean, no matter what you want to say about meta being dominant and overused, it's going to be incredible to watch 2 players battle it out using these commanders.
Sometimes I just want to say that, commander versatility and varieties for playing with your buddies. Sometimes, on the step. You're not going to see that with the elite level. You're going to see instead incredible plays, incredible ways to play the game. It's not just about clicking command, it's actually what you do with your units, and that's what we're seeing here. DevM, by the way, on Mill Road previously, was actually going for a lot of grenade builds as the US. We're not seeing that this time. Instead, he's relying on his old Co-1 style, which is with a light reconnaissance vehicle, much like the Jeep or the bike from... Co-1, where he cut his teeth and won his first World Championships back in 2013 now. But yes, indeed, he's gaining veterancy on it already.
I can tell you that as far as the early game goes, I actually think DevM's not going to be happy with the performance so far. part of the USF build here is actually being super, super dominant in the early game. That is why the WC-51 is there. You have to take that resource control. You have to deny it from your opponent, because ultimately this build is about getting units out to match Austir's quicker tier 3. And by that I mean he's going to want to get the Sherman out at the same time as that Panzer IV.
Rifle nade hits the riflemen in the east, and they've got a terrible retreat path. However, they get past the apex of the hut there, and now they've got a little bit of light cover in their way. Extremely lucky for your Portuguese maestro.
Wow, Loveness is going to be unhappy with that, I think. Because that really was so close to being a squad wipe. 222 out on the field, by the way, and bad timing for it.
Not bad at all. He has no veterans from his riflemen whatsoever. Veterans he won, that is. So this 222 is going to have a field day, parading around the map, pushing the WC-51 back. However, he does have the lieutenant with the bazooka, but it's out of position currently. Now the WC-51 is a sitting duck.
I actually think it would be such a shame to lose the veteran C2 squad here, but DevM knew he could get away from that engagement with a sudden burst of speed from the step on it ability. And that was beautifully timed.
It was indeed. Very good indeed. Nitro boost there. What is it called in Mario Kart? I know in I got the Crash Bandicoot port. It's Nitro. I actually forgotten what gives you the speed boost in Mario Kart, Stormers. Help me out here.
I can't say that I know
People
the
in
answer.
chat are going to destroy me for not knowing this. But it's very much like a power-up in a party racing game when the WC-51 gets ahead.
Yeah, that was fortunate for him, and of course there were so many roads there as well, so he had a really good speed, just based on the terrain as well. This is a great map for light vehicles, of course, because of all the roads, because of the open terrain. Now we're seeing the Stuart on the field. Scout car has to be careful, and I don't see any telemeters that we could check.
Not that I can see. He's got
Nothing in this game.
G43s as his priority, which is not a bad idea. Get those veteran squad leaders leading the squads. A lot of new hopeful players joining us in chat as our viewership grows. Welcome one and all. And thanks to Major Foley, it was indeed the Mushrooms. Grenadiers are a very sturdy squad down. They're very good at actually holding the line, much better than Mushrooms. They have better killing capability that allows them to do that. It's not necessarily defensive. It's all about actually being able to force away the rifles and stop them shooting you in the face. It's very highly advantageous in a combat situation.
I think he's just going to be happy to have a unit that is competent at range. I think right now you can see Loveness. He's playing more on the defensive. Because I think he's just waiting for this build to kick in. He's got to buy time, and it's DevM that has to be aggressive right now. DevM has to put the pressure on. Look at how he's doing it. He just misses to decap the munitions. So close, the model died just before that was capped.
Oh, savage. Just saw, by the way, my cursor showed you all the light cover around that parachute there, showing you why that unit on retreat was never going to die, because you get lower received accuracy, even on retreat, for passing through light cover. So just a little bit of a tip there, that if you can't work out why your units aren't killing someone on retreat, it may be the map's fault. You should probably try and kill them in more open ground, such as this. Not that you have a choice, but still.
Healing up in the base for Loveness at the moment, whilst DevM is just about to get his weapon rack unlocked. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing bars going onto his rifle very soon.
Prioritised vehicle 222's reversing away. Stuart gets past Loveness defences and gets a nice kill there for DevM. Now we've got to watch his retreat path. Can he get out of there? Yes, it looks like he's got multiple paths available to him in the south. That's a nice pickup for DevM.
DevM's still going to be thinking, I've got to be careful here. Is there a Telemine? But we know that hasn't happened. We did see Loveness play Telemines in the previous game. It may have helped here.
Anti-Grenadiers are trying to pretend they've got Panzerschrecks at range, but they do not. Aggressive with Loveness. That's actually a little bit untidy from him. He's going to have to... Yes! Oh, that's a good shot from the Stuarts. 60-odd manpower gone in the blink of an eye there.
know, look at the
Grenadiers
VPs.
asserting.
10 minutes.
Go on.
10 minutes in, the VPs are, you know, not so different from each other at all. I don't think we've seen a squad wipe yet, despite we've seen some near squad wipes. So actually, both players are, you know, they've been very good on preservation. Actually, I don't want to say that because I think that they've nearly lost squads, but the preservation has been good due to those factors of the game. DevM here is deciding, do I quickly cut the munitions in the north? Do I just capture the munitions for myself? He goes for the last one.
Indeed, the scout car, of course, only does 200 manpower, so not as much as a squad of infantry. A bit of fuel. WC51 pushes in. The MG42, by the way, had to pivot to stop the cut-off attempt from Dev, and WC51 exploits that. DevM is, I'll tell you what, he's looking on peak performance at the moment. However, Stuart's backed in to the VW Beetle, and there's a Faust to come. This could clear him out here. We don't have the munitions for the Faust, however. He needs 25. That is brutal for Lovenest. He couldn't get it. Now he might lose the Grenadiers on retreat. Can the Lieutenant get into that retreat path with the 3 firing squads models? No, he can't.
I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough Garens firing there for that to happen. There's good cover from Lovenest to bring in another squad. And actually, you know what? I think Lovenest really gave the game away that he didn't have munitions there. He ran up to the Stuart previously, didn't Faust when the opportunity was there, and I think DevM just knew, I'm going to dive. And that paid off massively.
Now the WC51's up to veteran C3, giving it even better maneuverability if it didn't have enough of it already. Keep an eye on the victory point situation though. Lovenest's hardly been dented thus far. DevM's pushed it down to 430 and dropping. Summers, this has all the hallmarks of an all-time classic in the build.
Yeah, I mean, right now, just looking at this game, it's phenomenal. We've got 2 top players, one playing hyper-aggressive in the early game, one playing, I would say, very defensively right now and doing a bloody good job of it to keep 2 VPs during what has been just regular, you know, dives, regular, like, spearhead attacks through the center. We see it on the MG42 constantly. This is a really good game. Right now, DevM is bringing out the 50 cal from the US machine gun, and this to me signals that DevM is now looking to start controlling parts of the map himself. He's going to start locking down some places. I think he has probably done enough in the terms of like the resource game to get the timing right so that he can bring out a Sherman at the same time as the Panzer IV. I think actually he may have done enough.
Something exciting is happening in the south. Sorry to interrupt your talk about strategy, but we nearly had somebody go under the bridge. Oh, he didn't do it. He's just going for an actual flank without using the bridge. DevM, what are you doing to me? Regardless, the flank is being pulled off, and the rifleman will be capping there. Meanwhile, in the centre, Lovenest is standing strong behind heavy cover and keeps victory point positioning there. He's using the machine and then Gewehr, 42 in the north, and DevM is just looking to consolidate the south of this.
Incredibly, Lovenest is going for a second AT gun. He has got Battle Phase 2, but he's not going to pick up the Tier 3. He's going to just utilize the resources he has at this time just to defend himself. I think he's expecting DevM to have this Sherman out quickly. DevM about to get the Major on the field, so we know it's not far away now.
Yes, indeed. DevM, by the way, has tech grenades. I've not seen him get the his just desserts yet from teching them. I've noted that a grenade did go off, but I don't think it did enough damage, and that is the problem with the Pineapples.
Oh, Pioneers.
And very, in that case, sour for the Pioneers.
That's a huge blow. That's a huge blow to Lovenest. He's got to. Not only were they vetted, he can't build Tier 3 now. I mean, like, he actually has to spend for that. That's a huge win for DevM. He's now going to dive on top of 3 VPs and start bringing Lovenest down.
Lovenest is not looking as sharp as DevM. He just misclicked picking up the bar and overstepped it and lost more manpower than was necessary. Now comes King Stuart to preside over the ceremony, which is DevM taking the lead in this game quite authoritatively. Let's check out the stats at this lull in activity moment. See, sorry, on the KDs, yes, it is fairly equal position. But on army values, you can see that DevM is peeling ahead, and on points held also. He's surging right now.
It's just a matter of aggression, and you never want to stop hitting your opponent when you're going to play the mechanized build here. And we're just waiting. I think we're just waiting for that Sherman. When that comes in, I think DevM is just, you know, he's fully upgraded everything. He'll be able to use combined arms, you know, in coordination with the Stuart.
Fantastic ability to combine arms. And one of those
Yeah.
underrated abilities in the game, quite frankly. The rate of fire bonus alone is absurd. Anti-Grenadiers in the hut. This hut is, I don't know if it's quite asymmetric. It feels in favour of North. They can defend themselves a little bit better. I hope I'm wrong there. Panzer-Grenadiers all biting the dust thanks to those grenades. Surely has to die there. What does he have to do to get a squad wipe on retreat? DevM can't buy RNG right now.
Well, you know what? It's fair because it's happened both to DevM and to Lovenest in this game. So, say what you want about the RNG, it has righted itself to an even footing within the measures of this game. Look at this. DevM is just continually diving into the enemy territory. He's now got 2 squads of riflemen with bars, and I believe both squads, no, sorry, 1 squad with double bar. The most northern squad has only got 1 bar equipped at the moment, however, still lethal. And look at that, you rarely see Lovenest pulling all of his units back into his base like this.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
He knows nothing more. Dive right now, and the trench of the ocean he's exploring is a pit of despair for Lovenest as he eats another grenade on the retreat. But I tell you what, he's having a good this stretch, this retreat path here. Lovenest is loving it. He's hardly had a squad wipe, and he deserves several right now due to DevM's aggression and flanking. But the map control speaks for itself. When we go over to the attack map, it's becoming a sea of blue right now.
This is just an incredible USF game. Really well played. We know it's a good strategy, we knew that already, but in the hands of DevM, phenomenal. Here is the M4A3, the 76mm Sherman. And, I mean, timing, incredible. There's a Stuart, there's a WC-51 at Vet 3, there's a Sherman, we've got all the original infantry squads still alive, fully upgraded. It's perfect. It's perfect.
It really is, and we've got the 76mm with that huge shark face, and giving us more the oceanic kind of vibes as we were talking about, or at least I was in this cast. And as mentioned, by the way, if you go to ! brackets in chat, you can see my player notes on the lead up to this tournament. I said DevM is the best player in the world when it's a DevM day. But DevM days are becoming few and far between recently. Well, it seems that we do have one of those very same days right now, because DevM looks, quite frankly, unbeatable on this form. His aggression is pitch perfect. He can go toe-to-toe with the likes of Isildur and Kimbo and Nagano and Lovenest in this case with ease when he's on form. And it's very nice to watch. As the WC-51 is wombo comboed by those Pack 40s. Just to, you know, help my points, but...
Yeah, Lovenest, by the way, we're 18 minutes into the game. He's now just building tier 3 after having to rebuild his pioneers, and is now getting that tech up in place. Now, because he's got the 2 AT guns, he can still go for tier 3. He's going to need it to deal with all the infantry. His are no longer strong enough. But DevM here, look at, he's actually poking into the base with the Stuart to get the medic.
Oh,
this is just brutal.
The bunker and base is your vaccine for your manpower woes, but the Stuart does not care. It destroys the bunker and base, and these Grenadiers are now going to have to come back onto the field, either using a med kit, which will take longer, of course, or just come in unhealthy and ready to die. Just like these ones here. Look, 5 men, low health. They'll bleed away.
Yeah, Lovenest has to be careful here. Despite the level of VP reduction that he's got going on right now from DevM's earlier triple cap, he needs to bank manpower.
Oh, Stuart dies! Talking about banking manpower, he's got more room for it now because he's just had another vehicle die.
What's happening to DevM? This has been perfect for 17, 18 minutes of the game. Suddenly we're seeing vehicles drop. In fact, all of the
Nice dodge and bundle nade there, though he is microing well. He's just having a few moments of possible complacency. Somebody in chat, by the way, just asked, why are we having these two early on so quickly. It's because DevM hasn't been as successful as he used to be, quite frankly, recently. We use the Master League to track tournament progress, like this big spreadsheet that keeps positions of all the tournaments, and DevM just doesn't perform as well in tournaments as he used to. But on individual matches, it seems he can still go toe-to-toe with people, but you just have to watch. Does he throw games? Does he get into a possibly insurmountable lead and then just give it away? And that's what we have to be careful about when watching him.
I'm actually, Loveness is playing this very well. I mean, he's in a terrible position, we know that. He's managed to cling on to VPs so well, and this is what you want to do as Axis, because you need to get into that late game. How he's managed to stop VPs being lower than they are is really one of the game's great mysteries to highlight. But now, actually, I think DevM he needs some kind of indirect fire. He needs to get those AT guns. I think the window of opportunity to dive on them is gone. The Panzer IV has just hit the field. And now we're going to have to see something else added to this composition.
How about another Sherman? That's something to add to compositions. Just get more Shermans. Become a composition of Shermans. A symphony of Shermans, in fact. As one of them reverses away, the Pat-40 is already used. They're actually isolated right now. If DevM can somehow pull the trigger here, but if you have the first tank out for Lovenest, he goes fourth. Bazooka's standing in his way, but they can't offer enough resistance. A little bit messy, a little bit scrappy out there right now. I tell you what, Panzer's just been shot in the back by the healthy Sherman, waiting in ambush from behind said bush. Could take him out. One more shot required. Sits on his shot and gets the haymaker and crushes the Grenadier. Oh my! And Loveness drops from the game. That was disgusting from the Sherman. That was actually a game-winning action. He hid behind the bush, took the tank out, and then reversed over the Grenadiers just for added insult to injury. 1-0 to DevM.
Well, there we have it. Game 1 in that series. We're expecting this series to be incredible, and Game 1 was not a disappointment at all. Lovenest, who we were just saying in the previous series, is incredibly on form, and then you just watch DevM, and it's like the next level. That was truly special, and what an incredible end to that game. It couldn't have been worse for Lovenest. His Panzer IV just upgraded with a machine gun as it died. He lost the squad to Crush. And, you know, like, he couldn't have even Fausted, really, because I don't think the Sherman had any health dropped on it at all. It just really, really strong performance from DevM. A worryingly strong performance from DevM. Cracking game.
It was. I was about to say, he has become, like, jokingly known as Throw M recently, because he gets into these crazy strong positions and then seemingly gives the game away. But he hung on through Lovenest's kind of counter-attack and then came back stronger. And he just outplayed him. When it got scrappy and messy, Stormless, that's when you need to find a moment of magic. And just keeping that Sherman behind the hedgerow, waiting, was that said moment. So yeah, S Black in chat, by the way, says this scenario reminds me of Master League 1. It is indeed an exact rematch. It's on Mill Road. It's these two in a best of 3. It's exactly the same. It's also a double elimination tournament, so it's an exact rematch of what we had last May.
I'll tell you, like, you know, I've made a lot of notes on DevM. He's played the build that I've written down, but
nice.
I tell you why this went so well for him is that I actually think that wiping the Pioneers was just like the most crucial thing that happened to Lovenest in that game. DevM's goal is to, you know, basically time the arrival of the Sherman with the Panzer IV. I mean, he had 2 out before that Panzer IV could come onto the field because Lovenest just couldn't build his tier building after that loss. That was huge. Had it not been for that, I actually think Lovenest could have come back from that game because he was so good on the VPs that entire game. He held on to them. He had time to come back, which DevM, I think, isn't going to be happy with. So whilst that went really well from DevM, it's I don't think it was the perfect game that he wanted, even still. You know, but seriously, having the Stuart there go into the base and take out the healing for Lovenest, it's so bold, it's smart, it's just a pleasure to watch top players in the game play that way. And, hey, I
Really
can't wait for
is.
game 2.
Me neither, me neither. Having various people ask questions in chat. Don't forget, we're not actually Relic, so we can't tell you when the patch is coming out. I've been told late November is the latest on that one. But no, we're actually just going to go straight into game 2 here. No rest for the weary, the wicked, or in this case, Stormless and I.
No, I'm good. I'm good to go. That's
Good man, good man.
can't get enough of that.
When I think
That's a
about you-
pleasure. If you ever want to like see good games, that's a really good game. That was a really good game. That was just like there's so much to learn from that. There's like there's so much going on.
As I say, we could happily cast this in half speed and have just as much to talk about. It is cracking. We have about 2.5 minutes until the game is observable in live. Stormless and I are loaded in, and yeah, we're just gonna chill out for a little while and just wait, recapture our breath. We don't need to go anywhere, do we, Stormless? Happy to be professional and drink here and chill out with people, I guess.
I think we're absolutely fine to do that, yeah. And this is a good time just to shout out to all the viewers that have turned up, early on in the tournament. This is the first weekend of the World Championship 2020. There are games today, there are games tomorrow, starting from 2 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. CET, 6 a.m. PT. So you guys know where to be tomorrow. And also next weekend, on the 21st, the 22nd, it's going to be the semi-finals and the finals. There's a lot of stuff for you guys to watch. The seeding is fantastic. The lineup is fantastic. So, and if we see more games like that,
Everybody's going to be very happy.
yeah.
And let's load in. We've got another little factional treat for you for an expected US versus Vermet. A little tiny bit of variation, so that's good to look forward to. Sorry, Sander. That was, yes, indeed. I probably covered over his face. Happens from time to time. Don't worry. Thanks for pointing out. It takes a coder to point something like that. Jan's always very good at like pointing out all things I've done. By the way, just so people know that hopefully I'll print screen this if I get a chance. Put it on Imgur maybe, or maybe just load it straight to Relic. That's not Relic. I've got 20 seconds to do this, guys. So go and upvote this if you've got a Reddit account. I'm going to upload this, and it's going to be quite a good image. Here we go. Yes, indeed, it is working. When each player has their own relic, their own base plate for winning a world championship event, you know this gon' be good. That's classic Reddit post there by AE. But it's good social media, guys. I've got 500 of you here. Let's get some upvotes because I think that's a nice post. Go check that out. And that's the face. Guys don't get to see that. That's the face plates that are in the game files, but only some specific players have access to them. And there we go. And Dan, we've got 10 seconds left. So let's do it, shall we?
Oh, sorry. What are we doing?
Going into the game. It was a rhetorical question.
Oh, sorry.
You're doing that deliberately. I know you.
Let's fill the 10 seconds. Not let's go. No, I can't wait. Let's go.
What's that? Love Nest on the ropes? Love Nest taken by surprise by the mighty attack from the player we find on the north of Mill Road. Who's 1-0 up, Dan?
Well, the player 1-0 up at the moment is, of course, DevM, who just played an incredible game as USF with the Mechanized Commander. Now he is playing Wehrmacht. and he's playing Ostrupen. Now, there's no surprises here because he loaded into this game with an Ostrupen bulletin. Pretty much everything here suggests he was going to go for that build into a quick tier 2, and no surprises whatsoever.
No, to quote Radiohead, Dan, no alarms and no surprises, Ostrupen. But that's indeed what we're getting. But Lovenest at least is going conscripts, and he's got 3 commanders we could have. Guard motor, a little bit of counter-attack, or the one you expect him to use, defensive tactics.
I'm not sure here, to be honest. So actually, we saw him play defensive tactics in Series 1 against Elpern, and it's very good against this build because it's focused on, you know, tackling the light infantry and with good play, you know, like becoming better than Ostrupen over time. However, actually, guard motor here is also acceptable depending on the map, and I don't know, to be honest, which one it's going to be. I suspect it's guard motor or defensive, likely to be defensive. We'll just have to wait and see. But Devem here looks good so far. He's been focusing on building some green cover sandbags in important positions. Machine guns coming out, so he's going to be able to lock down the territory. That's important right now.
Somebody's just asked in chat, is OKW a dead faction? Absolutely not. There are players in this tournament as we speak playing OKW, just that we're watching on any of them. Anyway, first attack underway. Conscripts spring out. We've got MG42 looking to set up from Devem. He's trying to do this. Can he get the timing there? The crew members go fourth. I've never seen that before. That was helpful. They body
crew
blocked
members body blocked.
like linebackers in NFL. How did Devem do that?
That was, wow. Next level play. And,
meanwhile, look at these combat Gs in the north. I've never seen anybody use that cover. That's purpose built. And they've bypassed them. Fantastic. Go straight for the fuel and ignore them. Just like the Maginot line.
This is actually one of the great things about this map. I love that point, to the left of the VP. I just think it looks so classic. It looks like a Company Heroes 1 esque defensive position, and just sets up the ambience of this map beautifully.
But Devem, by the way, they're just exploiting everything right now. He classically pushes the MG42 up with the squads, just making everything he does that more lethal and punishing. He gets the cut-off. Conscripts go in their prepared position, but not before they eat suppression. And now if you check the attack map, you can see the advantage of the cut-off. Devem has his resources. Lovenest has barely any.
Yeah, it's a really, really important cutoff. And fortunately, I mean, he's also now got a green cover position, which was built by Lovenest. Which, I mean, an MG there would be devastating, because it actually covers the exit to the base. If the MG42 was to sit there, you know, there would be a tricky situation to come out of. I think, actually, we'll be seeing Devem go for it now. I'm not 100% sure.
To tell you what, he's just absolutely pinning Lovenest now.
To take double fuel here, which I think he was going to. No, I don't think he will be able to through the victory point if he loses the territory point there, which would be a shame for Devem. But nevertheless, we do see tier 2 in the base for Devem already. We're expecting the light vehicle. It's going to be the half track. We know what that's going to be become.
Stormless, do you want an analogy that sounds like I'm making it up, but I aren't? Devem actually practices a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. And he's reminding me quite a lot of Khabib Nurmagomedov right now, the lightweight champion that I think recently retired, but when he is unbeaten in over 20 fights, and when he gets on top of you, Storm, takes you down and pins you, like we just saw there, it's very, very hard to ever, like, breathe again. When Devem gets on top of you in a series like this and he's on form, quite frankly, it's suffocating. And that's what we're seeing a little bit of here.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Devem, by the way. He strikes me as a Yoda of the martial arts world. But,
he actually is, that's true, by the way.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, actually, look, Lovenest has just picked defensive tactics as soon as we saw that half track. This is Lovenest's counter to Ostrupen. It is an effective counter. We've seen it. So, I'm curious. Very good. By the way, MG42 on the east side of the map there didn't get suppression on any of the conscripts. It's hard to see from the normal camera view, but if you do pan down, you see there's a little green cover sandbag there that just helped them win that engagement. And I don't think Lovenest would have seen that. He probably knows about it, but it's one of those things you really have to remember. And again, small details like that in Company of Heroes really do change engagements.
Just realised that it's a custom win. Nobody's ever done this in a tournament to me before, but custom skins are allowable. My version of DevM's half-track has a Co-1 Wehrmacht flag, you know, with the cross.
Right.
It's not a political symbol, but if you just squint your eyes, it looks bad. It isn't bad though, trust me. But I think we need to make a tournament rule in the future that we have to be careful what people make as their custom skins. You know, we could have some terrible ones. Like a dinosaur skin, for example. I mean, that would be very unprofessional.
Or dolphins.
Dolphins and whales. I mean, that would be horrendous. Imagine that being an official skin.
It's for a very good cause.
Dolphins and whales, indeed. We do have... here we go. This is the defensive commander in a nutshell. There's the small AT gun, check, and there's the Dushka, check. We're all ready to go. The comeback is on, ladies and gentlemen. The comeback is on.
Yeah, I like this. Actually, Lovenest banked, I don't know if you saw, he was banking like 550 manpower at one point. And he was just waiting, I think, for that 2 CP mark so that he could just suddenly pop all these units out onto the field. And you get the vision with the conscripts here to get another shot from the M42. It's very good. It's gonna take
nice tripwire there by 34 manpower, gone in the blink of an eye, and the light of a flare from the Panzer Grenadiers. Dushka ready to push them away also. Lovenest is pushing up through this western flank. He's certainly not out of this one yet, Stan.
No, by the way, DevM he did actually see on Fog of War. I checked it. Lovenest is building a mine there next to the fuel point, and DevM just saw that. He just saw that that's there. So maybe expecting to see minesweepers now.
You should have minesweepers against Lovenest literally every single game. In fact, 2 minesweepers could be useful because there's always traps and demos and all kinds of stuff against this madman.
Oh, this is a tough play in the north for the Ostroupen against the flamethrower. Actually, they're not taking as much damage on the retreat as I thought they might. Our units
If
trying
they
to
stand
flank.
still, they could actually kill somebody for once, maybe. No.
Have you seen how Lovenest has decided to respond to this? He's jumping on those VPs again. Because he knows, it's instinctive to him. Like, the best way to get back into a game is to stall the VPs and make sure you just have time. You play sensibly, you bank the time resource, and you know, try to make that work. But this is strong from Lovenest. Look at his position now. And we saw this with
unit
Alpine.
composition as well, Stormless. The double Dushk is way back into the game with all these flares as well. The double Dushk was, he's using it very well. It's going to give DevM some serious issues. By the way, nice flank from the conscripts, going for a cheeky nade on the 251, but repositions instead. And yeah, this is a very interesting game this time.
Whilst you mentioned the double Dushka, by the way, I mean, you just check out Lovenest's base. This is the beauty of playing this commander against Ostroupen, is that you can get your machine guns and your AT guns, which are very good against the tier 2 of Oster, without having to detect. He doesn't have to think about anything. He's just focused on the engagements on the field right now. And,
nice flank on the MG. He repositions, does DevM, but he's an island of resistance right now elsewhere. We've got Lovenest pushing through the centre, and we've got Panzer Grenadiers, by the way, which are being hunted down. So double engagements to keep an eye on. Let's check out the North Storms. What do we see there?
MG42 getting flanked by conscripts. The Ostroupen seem powerless to deal with this. However, the Flammenwerfer on the half-track just forces the retreat immediately of those. Look at this M42 AT gun. We've got a second one coming with no line of sight.
Misses. Conscripts now could die. Oh my lord, there we go, an 18-8 as well. That's what he stuck around for. But excellent body blocking by DevM. Tactic popularised by the Polish player Kimbo there, dragging his units in the retreat path and causing them to stutter, giving him opportunity for the kills. It's one of the ways the players are really pushing the envelope of Company of Heroes tactics and gameplay.
That was a very, very important win for DevM. And Lovenest actually feels he needs that third conscript right now. So he's actually going to rebuild that when perhaps we would be looking at a tier 3. I don't even know if he's going to rush tier 4 here. Do I see a demo charge?
You do. DevM was originally of the Code 1 clan. Where's my demo? WMD. And in fact, we found his demo, and it's by the well, and it's about to possibly get Lovenest back into this best of 3 series. I wonder what it's a very cluttered area. You can see the demo charge if you look, but there's a carcass and a well, and in the tunnel vision-esque arena of competitive heroes, he may just miss that and end up getting blown up.
I actually think they still work at high level because there's so many top players that even through the fog of war know exactly where they're clicking and where the cover positions are. So they may click and leave it, you know, which maybe the Panzer Grenadiers are doing at the moment. Not sure, but I don't know about you. I'm clicking the demo.
Oh gosh, he didn't have line of sight, so he couldn't load
wait.
the Panzer Grenadiers up.
No, this is smart. Of course, the retreat path. Now the Panzer Grenadiers
yes, and the conscripts are coming in. One of them just turned around, almost as though to look at it and see it, and thought, oh crap, we're in a trap here. Not so sure that is the case, though. The M42's got a good shot off and kills the half-track at max range. Excellent work by Lovenest there. Meanwhile, the conscripts have been firing on the Panzer Grenadiers. They're trying to get that retreat off, but a very hardy received accuracy profile do the Panzer Grenadiers have, says Yoda.
It's a shame actually because the demo charge is like actually very well placed for what Lovenest was intending there. It's not going to have that effectiveness now because DevM is just trying to dive on top of a strategic point.
He's threatening a bundle nade. Yes, he is. It's a very well telegraphed one, though. Meanwhile, in the north, we've had 2 ships crossing the night as conscripts and Ostroupen go for different capping options. Ostroupen and Pioneers versus the conscripts is the combat engineer, and the M42s obliterate this Ostroupen squad.
Oh! Just that beautiful tripwire flare on the retreat path as well. You've always got to wonder, is there another one on the retreat path? Conscripts, by the way, on the north are about to go down to Ostroupen.
Oh,
another
yes.
squad lost. And it comes just as Lovenest is building that tier 3, so I think that means actually we're not going to see that conscript squad replaced by Lovenest now, and he clearly needs it. We saw him rebuild it immediately on the last loss.
Watches over the centre. In the south, we've got an MG42 doing a good level of capping work. Surely has to be careful of mines and such. But no, he goes fourth, regardless.
We just want to build a little bit the tension here, but I've got to call something out because I've just seen it. There is a telemine just north of the strategic point in the south, on the little between 2 brown hedges. I don't know if you can see that there.
Well, I'm looking. Yes, I can indeed see it. That was excellent call out there, Storm. This is very detailed. Your geolocation advice was almost militaristic in fashion. 2 clicks north-left of Stoke-on-Trent. There's a new Burger King. Ostroupen getting forced away by Vet 3 combat engineers. Not that that means anything, because that's all about the repair capabilities. Meanwhile, MG42 is being forced away as the conscripts watch on. And they now sit on their shots, firing those M1 Garads. Can they? One more bullet will do, Storms. Just one. They get it. Nice.
The enemy has killed a machine gun.
Yeah, again, very important, wiping out that machine gun. Of course, DevM does have another one, but you don't want to be giving that kind of map control unit to your opponent right now. DevM is playing really well. And Lovenest, we have to just say this, Lovenest would be out of the tournament, well, sorry, not out of the tournament, but he'd be knocked out of this series. He'd go down to the lower bracket if he loses against DevM in this game. It's a game Lovenest has to win.
Oh, there's the demo! Destroying the well, meaning that his own water resources are now going to be at a minimum. That's unfortunate. Stormless, a strategic point I'd like to bring up is the fact that we got 3 MG guns for Lovenest, which is excellent against infantry, yes. But if DevM is surviving here and keeps going, he's going to be able to build a tier 3 tank composition. That will mean that Lovenest has too much manpower in too many places that just don't help him enough. You can really starve your opponents of their manpower economy if you just keep pushing the MGs away, and before you know it, your tanks just reside over the entirety of the map, and it will take a while for DevM to achieve this, but he may be able to do just that.
I think this is a very hard game. Devon, no, I'm not 100% sure. Oh no, he has. He has actually just gone up to Battle Phase 3, and I was going to say he needs to do this because Lovenest has decided to go for Tier 4. He's waiting for what I assume is going to be a T-34 here. But at some point, I mean, these M42s are going to lose their effectiveness against Tier 4 units, especially because
No, do you think? They may not penetrate all the time, Stormers, but honestly, Vet 3 on these babies, if they get to Vet 3, they're just as good as any AT good in the game, quite frankly.
they're good.
Forced away, but you have to keep Vetracy. If they lose it, they're useless, agreed. But honestly, Tier 4 against Vet 3 M42s probably preferable over Zis guns at times.
I mean, there's a reason why the counter here. That is going to be the T-34, and I think that's a sensible choice from Lovenest here.
So, yes, so sensible. I did see a good shout in chat. Somebody said SU-85 needed, and I don't disagree. He is on his haunches a little bit. He's on his back foot right now, and he's.
I don't think that the vehicles are going to be the problem here. The vehicles can only do so much, and Lovenest does have AT grenades. You know, the M42 is, you know, it's going to be able to deal with any medium vehicle, give it some health loss, and get snared. But I actually think the important thing is this T-34 is going to have to. It's going to have to just deal with any off-trooping along the way, and that just allows all of Lovenest's army to just continually move up.
People are trying to say that my idea about the MG is not my strategy in my auto match game. I don't just think, oh, I'll give him all of my support weapons, then starve his manpower economy. I'm just saying that if he was losing and getting MG'd to the face and he just concentrates on tanks and, you know, that kind of thing. It's an idea, just a thing. Don't worry, I don't think that's the way to play the game. Anyway, we've got LMGs now on the Ostroupen, finally meaning they can go toe-to-toe with the conscripts and combat engineers, etc. Flamers.
It's actually really funny because that kind of strategy, I don't think it's impossible that strategy could exist somewhere in the future.
You know, if your opponent goes too much anti-tank, don't build tanks, build infantry. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? What have you seen?
Did you just catch the T-34 then? It wiped an entire squad of Ostroupen on the retreat, and they weren't even near each other. You can look where the models died.
The hell, they're all clumped. That's what happened. They got clumped on the apex.
They weren't clumped.
Telemine goes off. They weren't clumped, you say? Jesus Christ.
No.
Panzer IV goes south past the point there. That's really unexpected.
Yeah, this is a loss, but actually the T-34, if it goes down here, is possibly even bigger.
Well, he hits a mine himself, so although he might die, the M42s are in excellent position. The Ostroupen just can't kill fast enough. Panzer IV is going to have to go forward. Panzer Grenadiers are going to come to try and protect when the M42s goes around to the west side of the hedgerow. Needs possibly one more shot. We've got an 18 aid coming in. Panzer IV pays his successes with an instant loss there. Who's out on top of that one, Stormers? Who comes out on top?
Actually, I think Lovenest comes out on top. I think so. I mean, it's going to be easy for Devon to... I don't know. Devon, I think, is actually waiting for Dintar or Panther right now. But Lovenest is going to have a T-34 out quicker. And that's going to give him time to get back on the field. I think Lovenest comes up better there.
Yeah, I mean, we do see in base we have the heavy Panzer Corps up for Devon, as Stormers mentioned. Which could be a great play or it could be a misplay. It's a bit of a gamble. He's going for the Brumbear. Yeah. The madman. Sturmpanzer at this point, in this position, at this time of the year, located entirely in your kitchen.
I know where that reference is.
Good man.
Aurora Borealis.
Indeed. And talking about the Northern Lights, we're seeing the magnetic death of, that makes no sense. MG down again. Now we're having 4 MGs for Lovenest. If there's ever a time for AE to be right about the perfect MG counter, starving you of manpower, it is indeed Brumbear versus 4 MGs. So the dream is alive. My terrible point of 10 minutes ago could ironically become very much our very near future. So, how'd you like that, guys? I was accidentally right.
It's a very interesting scenario for Devon here because he's. It's good that his Ostroupen have offensive capabilities now with the LMGs, but I mean it's a really tough composition to play against. You look at Loveness, by the way, now he's just building mines everywhere now that he has time to use that map control. I hope the Brumbar is effective. It's effective against all the infantry components that Loveness has, but now he's going to have to deal with the T-34 as well, potentially flanking. Where are DevM's munitions going here?
Farlian has an excellent point in the chat. You can just use anti-tank Overwatch and block him, like Kimbo did to Loveness actually in Master League 1's grand final. It really does work, but the M42 now getting veterancy too, and there's the penetration through the... That's a rear armor shot actually. And here we go, we've got a good railway artillery. The first shot's on target, don't forget. Schmer Gustav, where are you? He's going to miss. Barely.
Where was DevM's AT positioning during this engagement? You cannot have the Brumbar that far up when there's, you know, your opponents have map control, because they will be laying mines. We've seen that from Loveness. That was very risky. That to me shows a little bit of a sign of weakness here.
There's all 3 shots from that huge cannon. And push forward. Brumbar, by the way, has only gotten 1 kill this far. Hardly the lifting of the caster's curse so at this point in time. Combat engineers, what have they been up to? Surely some nasty surprises laid somewhere close. MVP of Loveness tournament career, the combat engineer actually. Neutralizing in the centre. What else do we see? Stormless.
Well, not much, and I think that's one of the problems. DevM is going to go for another machine gun. Are we going to give Loveness 5 machine guns?
I'm telling you, clog up his...
He's like, oh my god, it's next level strategies. He's trying to fill up Loveness PopCap with machine guns, so he can't build the Su-85. You're right, you were right. Hey, it's dream. It's a dream tactical play, and it's you're right. You know, amazing.
Genuinely, it's not a thing. I don't think it's a thing. I'd love it to be a thing, but that'd be crazy. Anyway, let's talk us through the stats, Storm. We're starting with the overview screen. What do we see there? We're at half speed in the real game.
Well, we see something I think you would say you don't normally see, which is a positive KD with Soviets. Loveness playing very, very well at the moment. DevM, you know, he is playing Ostrupen, so again, you know, maybe he's incurred more losses for that. But yeah, I mean, I actually would say the game has still been very even despite that. But if you go over to the graphs of army value, you can really see both players, you know, they took a massive hit at the same time. They've both started to recover from it. It's just a very even game, I think. The VPs are the only difference right now.
There we go. Dushka's set up right now, thwarting the advance, but the Brumbar's ready. However, the M42s are ready as well. Here he comes with a possible... I tell you what, he's deflecting a hell of a lot of shots there. He really needs veterancy 3, just to give more rate of fire and penetration.
Yeah, this is one of the things I was going to say earlier, actually, is the M42s will lose some of that effectiveness when the tier 4 units come out, and how Loveness deals with that, I think, is going to be an Su-85.
Possibly. I'd say with anti-tank, and he hasn't got any munitions for anti-tank Overwatch though, so I'd say Su-85 is a good decision. There we go, the T-34 gets a lot of penetration on the Brumbar, the M42s can't penetrate, however, until they get that 3. Down at the moment. If you're not used to this angle, the reason we're doing it is there's so much going on. It's a true World War I-esque line battle.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Really so fragile. Panzergrenadiers on the right, by the way. They're very, very close to 2 mines that Loveness has laid over there. I think DevM kind of knew the game, perhaps, and didn't go into the cover. A sensible decision.
He's created a Panzergrenadier mine sandwich. And Ostrupen push forward. The M42s are in cloak. They're going to reverse away. Like a good old PaK-38 cloaking device. And we're actually quite far off veterancy 3. Very important veterancy level in Loveness there. And DevM has stabilised with a tier 4 build Stormers. I often think it is about stabilizing and just controlling your opponent, trying to climb through the levels of veterancy. And oh my lord! He's got a full squad wipe. That's again with the T-34. Are you kidding me? 10 kills on this thing. It's a killing machine.
Let's be fair. I mean, Devem was very clever to do that to avoid the mines, but he was clobbered up there and paid the price.
Look how clumped up they were. All those Sturmgewehrs and men in a pretty clump of German soldier. That's very unfortunate to have 2 squad wipes from a T-34 like that. You just can't expect that to happen like that. And one thing you can't expect, however, is the Su-85. A lot of people in chat were expecting it. It is now on the field. But I tell you what, Devem's had a little bit of bad luck there. It's is putting it down to terrible clumping.
Well, no, it was the right thing to do to clump them there to avoid the mines. I think he knew the mines would be there. So that's clever. It's just unfortunate that it was also his demise. Actually, the Dishkas here, by the way, have been really, really effective. I just watched Panzer Grenadiers, Veteran C2, walk into Dishkas. I mean, literally the second they walked in, the Dishkas suppressed them. Retreat. That's huge.
Bear's trying to reverse away from the anti-tank grenade. He actually bounces a shot off the frontal armor from the Su-85 there, I believe. Pak-40's repositioned. Conscripts march on. Devem really needs to help his units here. Needs to get that synergy. Does indeed suffer a damaged engine. The Su-85 is pushing forwards and on. He's got him here. It's a trap though. Pak-40s are set up. They're going to shoot over the river and miss. They hit green cover. Oh dear for Devem. He's miscalculated here horrendously. He's not got the angle he needed, and his Brumbears are sitting duck and just dies a death.
One of our panzers has been destroyed.
Still some nice plays coming in here. The Panzer Grenadiers drop a bundle grenade onto the M42.
Oh, Devem! He drops from the game after he has a tilt moment or two. First, his Panzer Grenadiers die, and then his ambush fails miserably. This game is drawed even. 1-1. We're going to head to an ace game.
Welcome back after that amazing game 2 in that series. I was secretly hoping for a game 3. I will say that because this is just such an amazing series. We've seen Devem play incredible USF mechanized. We've seen Lovenest play an incredible counter to the Ostrupen meta with the defensive tactics from Soviets. And now I'm left wondering, what is a game 3 between these two amazing players going to behold? It's such an intense game because these are both players that we could be seeing in the finals, and one of them is about to go down to the lower bracket.
They are indeed, and we have both players have been in the lower brackets before and gone on to win events. Lovenest and Devem, both of them. Let's go over to the brackets now and see how things unfold. We have all of our quarterfinals underway. We have nobody in round 3 quite yet, so we have 8 matches right now. It's basically the start of the tournament again, and gosh, it's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. You know, one of the things I actually really wanted to say about the tournament is like tournament diversity in terms of like where people are coming from this year is like really cool. We have players from like South Korea, America, Germany, you know, the UK. There's a real like wide diversity of players right now, and it's really cool to say like everyone all over the world is currently playing Company of Heroes, and that's fantastic. In terms of the games, yeah, there's a lot going on. And looking at the brackets right now, I see we finally have some of the other quarterfinal series that were confirmed. I love the grudge match between Isildur and Von Ivan from your Chaos Krieg. That's also sounds like it's going to be an interesting one. I also think Kimbo and Asia sounds really interesting too.
Kimbo Agermant's a cracker, an absolute cracker. They're two of the fastest hands in the West in terms of micro. But if we check out the lower bracket a little bit, you can see Happy Cat versus Helping Hands. Coast Quirrets, which will the winner of that will face the loser of Dev M Love Nest, by the way. You got Elpern, Asher, and Orange Pest versus Seeking. So, if I'm not mistaken, and I hate to be a seeding nerd, but I do think the higher seed has won every single game of round 1. So we've just basically we've got the top 8 of the tournament and the lower 8 of the tournament. So yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. But indeed, let's get ready for this exciting 8th. I won't be surprised if they have a little break. Let's just check in on them.
Is it okay if we have a little break as well? I could do with the bathroom.
Of course we can. I think that's more than...
yeah, and I need to resync apparently as well. So.
Oh, I don't know why Discord's doing this today of all days, but we'll probably we'll toggle with Zoom if you think that's any faster in the future.
Well, let's obviously everything is stretched at the moment because of COVID-19. We're obviously not in the studio like we would be at this time.
You think that's what it is? You think maybe Discord's getting throttled a little bit on the old video delay? Because I've never seen this before, quite frankly. Video's really tight. Anyway, we'll figure that out, guys. We'll give it a little bit of a restart, and we'll be straight back with you for the Ace game in around 5 minutes' time. Thank you.
into it.
Guys, 30-second warning. If you're on another tab or you're doing something else, maybe doing the gardening in the rain or whatever, the deciding age game of Loveless Devon is upon you. We're about to go into it live. We're with you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this ace game. We are in an ace game between these two incredible players. It has been a long, hard slog to get here, but right now, playing for you on the southeast side of Faymonville Approach, it is DevM.
And in the north, the reigning world champion versus his old foe. He has now been taken to the limits, and what a map to find these two players operating at said limits on. Oh my, oh my, oh my. It is indeed Faymonville Approach. Not only my favourite 1v1 map of all time, but how about you, Stormers? Where does it rank for you?
It's there. It's number one. Easily. It's such an easy choice for me to call Faymonville. It's just like, I think it's the best 1v1 map. It's got some really, really hard contenders, let's be fair. We've got Crossroads, like fantastic on the map. Stalingrad. But actually, I just think Faymonville, there's something about it, because it's wide, because it forces you to play wide for resources, for VPs. Like, I love that about this map. And, what an incredible game. Just look at the factions right now. Lovenest, I believe, would have had the pick here for
No,
factions.
it was DevM, actually.
Was DevM?
DevM, yes. He eked him out a little bit. The chat was quite funny. Like, Lovenest was like, DevM, I think you might have picked. Yes, it's me. Like they counted basically, and DevM's chosen Wehrmacht. He's chosen Ostrupen, which he clearly thinks is the most efficient doctrine in the game at the moment. But Lovenest has done very well as Soviets to, really show that you can play against them.
I'm really
win.
surprised. I'm surprised, because he played so well with the USF Mechanized, so well. But perhaps this isn't the map for it.
He went so well without having like a crowd control-based strat, where you control victory points. He went for resources, he went for vehicles, and that's possibly why he actually bled victory points. One of those things. Talking about Lovenest, of course, there. But Constrict's pushing into the east from Lovenest. He's got 3 of them and an extra combat engineer, as always. And the 3 Ostrupen of DevM are all just pitched up right now, and waiting.
But look at the map play, though. Look at how the fuel is connected on the right-hand side here by that slither of a join there through the strategic point on the right. I know, like, actually, it's going to net DevM double fuel at the start of this. Now, he needs to go and defend the strategic point from Lovenest, but I see the MG42 going there already. And this is a good map play from DevM.
I can see a scout car in Lovenest's future imminently, because a good amount of fuel there means they'll probably bypass the 251 and go straight for the scout car. Good bit of suppression from DevM. Look how he got that off, just eking it out over the hedgerow, stopping the flank and keeping the Ostrupen on the fuel point for that little while longer.
Yeah. You're absolutely right to call scout car, by the way. I think it is going to be a scout car. The quickest I've seen was actually in one of the Master League games from Isildur. 4 minutes and 19 seconds, and we may see that. Nope, we're not going to see it. I don't think there's enough fuel, but
Needs 5 more. We'll see when he gets it. It'll be quite quick, though, to be fair, in an elite level battle. Meanwhile, conscripts of Lovenest march forth. Ostrup are going to get behind the heavy cover tractor. And yeah, it's a good game so far. Good ebb and flow to it.
It's not the scout curry, it's the half track.
What? That's surprising. What about his munitions though? Look at that. He's got more than enough to get the Flammenwerfer, so fair dues.
Interesting. It's actually Lovenest who's getting the more munitions in per minute. 47 for Lovenest. Now
Not many mines you thus far, though. The one thing that can save you from a 251 rush is a good, well-placed mine.
I'm also looking at the other options available to Lovenest. Just to call out at this point, Lovenest has played defensive tactics twice. We've seen him play Soviets today, so perhaps that would be expected. I think this is possibly a better map to play it as well, because it's not as wide, it's not as open. The M42s would do very well here. AT grenades coming up for Lovenest. I think he's expecting that counter. He's definitely got the munitions to deal with it with AT grenades. Here comes the Flammenwerfer as well.
Flame projectors are going to be projecting a vile image of hatred and molten confusion upon Lovenest.
I'll tell you what though, AE. Every time we've seen that half track appear, Lovenest has clicked defensive tactics. He hasn't done it this time. So maybe we'll see some variety.
Nope. 18-8's already up though, so there's your answer. He doesn't fancy it, he's just going to 18-8 him. Now, Famenville does have some divergent strategy options, of course. I mean, a very wide map, yes, but also very narrow. It's stubby. It's a stubby map, meaning indirect fire is actually... oh no, he's just not defensive.
Yeah. he said it as I was talking about it. I was like,
oh, just as I embarked upon my point. Thing is about the tunnel vision of the male mind is when you embark on a point, you stop actually taking into account your surroundings. So it's often you make an idiot of yourself. Which is it's always fun. 2 MGs from Devon, a bad option. The one's occupying the southern fuel, and the other is occupying the northern fuel. So very fuel-focused play from Devon, of course.
yeah, it's a critical unit for map control. Just getting those suppressions and forcing a unit back to base is so key in this game. But actually, the big talking point here is still DevM is dominating both fuel points. And, you know, you want to see that tier 3 rush from DevM.
And M42 is the option from Lovenest. Having to go for it. Tier 2 out and pulls them out immediately. Oh, we got conscripts on a very savage retreat path there. The 251 in hot pursuit, very literally. We have an incredible engagement. It's conscripts versus Ostrup, and from behind heavy cover stormers. Who's going to win this one, for this year at least?
I'm hoping it's the conscripts.
Well, their line is prettier, isn't it? Their line is prettier, but the Ostrup are holding firm. They hold. They hold. Hold firm. Very good by the Ostrup. Hey, if it wasn't for The Simpsons, I wouldn't have any casting of things to say. I'd lose phrases very quickly. Oh, there's been a cheeky mine planted there, if I'm not mistaken. Did I see that? No, I didn't. 251 goes forth and burns the flamethrower unit away.
Yeah, the earlier mine got cancelled because I think Lovenest was expecting the half track to see it, but it didn't. 42 here just creeping up. Lovenest is in a really tricky position, right? This is a nice push, by the way, with the conscripts trying to get the AT grenade on. Yes. Perfect.
M42 got some great shots there, Storms. He threaded the eye of a needle there, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Look at this from DevM, by the way, Dan. If we go to TAC map, you can see that the Ostrup are now venturing very much into Lovenest's home territory. This is like the house where his mother grew up kind of thing. This is something from his distant past. This is a very strategic point. You barely ever see capped, is the point I'm trying to make. Meaning that DevM has a very good map control.
I think I can possibly see now why DevM would have chosen to go Ostrupen on a map like Famenville, because it's naturally a lot more cover points. It's more like it's maybe like closer, so the units can actually get together a bit more and they can hold the front line a bit better than
Double Dushking from Lovenest. He's got 2 of them on the field now. The second one emerges. And he's going to have to hold the line. I mean, to be fair to him, he's had this Northern Fuel for a while now. The M42 and AT grenade usage has been good, keeping the half-track out of the situation. But it is DevM that's had a majority of the points on the map.
DevM's a bit slow on attacking whilst all this is going on. One thing Loveness is doing very well, it's actually maybe occupying DevM to the point he's not gone for Battle Phase 2 yet. He's stacking resources and he's just preoccupied right now. But the tier 3 rush here is exactly what you want to be aiming for. And I hope he doesn't miss that.
He heard you, Dan. He just took Battle Phase 2 a little bit late, though. I completely agree. It's almost like he's been preoccupied with killing Lovenest. But in doing so, you know, he's giving Lovenest little timing opportunities to steady the ship and keep afloat.
The position is so good there. Being rewarded with a shot. I mean, just the chasing down with the conscripts means that Devon has to constantly look at that unit. You may not be paying attention as much in the north, but this MG42 seems unflankable. Like, Lovenest has not been able to work his way around that, or even to capture the territory point outside of his base. But now he's flanking. He's got good support with the Dushkas. He's got the M42 AT gun, and now he's going to push Spearhead through the center. He wants to take that strategic point just outside of DevM's base, which would cut all those resources on the left-hand side of the map.
Yeah,
and
he's going for it right now, just as you say it. Oh, but the Panzer Grenadiers were lying in wait with those Sturmgewehrs ready to blaze. Taking this opportunity of Lovenest finally focusing on the centre, Devon of course goes north, so we're going to see a reversal of the map positioning now. We're going to see a flip from a north-south orientation to a west-east orientation, which is a bit more classical for Faymanville.
There's the tier 3, just popping from DevM back in base.
And to be fair, we're wrong. His fuel timing is going to be absolutely fine.
It will.
Mark of a good caster is not just being wrong, but it's admitting you're wrong. And we do it regularly here in A and Stormless Enterprises. Make it a whole
the regular part is not the mark of good casting. That's the nuanced difference.
Wait, I've been getting it wrong all this time. I was meant to be wrong irregularly. Damn it. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, got Ostrupen pushing forward. The conscripts holding the line behind the heavy cover. And Devon's going north. So this is a pivotal moment. Pivotal literally being the point, because they are pivoting around the map as we speak. T-70 on its way very late.
We are losing territory.
12 minutes ago, coming in 12.5 minutes, but that is a real problem. It's going to meet the Panzer IV, and it's going to be very tricky to deal with. But we do know that the M42s are effective against the Panzer IV. We saw that in the previous game, so actually there's not as much scope here, I think, for the Panzer IV to flank and be effective. So actually, maybe not so problematic from Lovenest. He's got to get on top of VPs, though. We're actually 100 VPs down for Lovenest right now against DevM. You don't want to have access with the VP lead.
Look at this Panzer IV timing. The T-70's on its way, but the Panzer IV's not far behind. Oh, what a shot by the M4. That's ridiculous. Was that indeed? It was armor-piercing rounds from the Dushka. Got the kill there, I believe. Yes. No, it softened the blow, and then the M42 got the shot through the eye of the needle past 2 buildings. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
That was pretty incredible.
Yes, comrade. The enemy is taking
Nice work
what
by
we have
Lovenest,
secured.
just as he pivots on the field, and he gets a nicely timed kill. But the Panzer IV is there to tag team in for its former brother. With the hot tag.
It was really nice.
Go on, sorry.
It's always really nice to watch Lovenest play from the back foot. To see him get stressed here. Panzer IV is going to go in. There's a great Faust from the Ostrupen.
And indeed, one more shot required, perhaps. But the M42's wailing on him. There he goes. He gets the killing blow. Panzer IV looks likely to survive and get out of there.
Oh, that was horrific for Lovenest. The T-70 was just left with no recon mode on, quite far up on the road. And and he's going to be upset with that. It's going to cost him if he wants to continue on with tier 3 tech. He'd be relying a lot on the M42s.
It's forward flanks the M42. It's a shot that just on the edge of the cone of fire. Meanwhile, MG has been suppressed and doing the same to the conscripts in the centre. In the north, we've got the value of Pioneers and Panzer Grenadiers and another MG in the background. But he's got 3 MG42s as Devon.
Panzer 4, by the way, been trying to crush and destroy all these field cover positions. Trying to take advantage of. There goes another one. And I think Lovenest here is going for a second engineer. I'm wondering if this is for recon purposes, like to spot for the M42s.
And Pioneers now trying to cap the heavy munitions as the combat engineers draw in. Conscripts stand in the northern garrison, watching the Panzer Grenadiers, who previously lost a squad model to a tripwire flare, 34 manpower for a 10 munition transaction. Very good.
Where is this Panzer 4 at the moment? Back in the base. Maybe gives Lovenest a little window of time to jump on fuel. Lovenest has had hardly any fuel in this game. One of the good things though is that fuel points in Company of Heroes 2, they're not the be-all and end-all. You still get fuel through your strategic points, which means that actually Lovenest has been on plus 22. He's still teching, he's still able to tech. And, you know, that's a good sign. Are you seeing the flamethrower through the hedgerow here? Is that...
I am now. Yes, indeed, he's flaming him out.
I don't know why he's done it this way. Before he was in cover behind the sight blocker doing.
This happens in my games. He's lost an MG to a flame. Oh, he's not. He's got it out. There we go. That's why it is elite level coming here. So he actually flicked the MG and got him out of the building. Fantastic play. But this is a good old game, isn't it, Dan? This is what we've come here to see. We're on 312 victory points for Lovenest, 458 for Dev M. Let's venture over to the match stats and see the KD's roughly equal, Ostroupen versus Conscripts.
Sorry, just something to point out on the left VP, like Lovenest trying to mine here, but of course not capping the VP whilst he's doing it. Little things like this.
Surely you know, a little bit of him's over the line. I mean, I'm not a referee here, but... Oh, there it goes.
But these seconds count, you know, by the time this VP is going to be captured, you look at the force that Devon is bringing over now to the west, it's sizable, and you're going to need to get the VP, lock it down, get into a cover position. Tier 4, by the way, in the base for Lovenest. I'm glad that he held on. I'm glad that he didn't go for that T70 again. This is a sensible option to try and do what he can.
M42. And 80 grenade, but the M42 does not penetrate, so the damaged engine was not received. It has to be below 95% health on the tank. Of course, while MG and the garrison here tags in, of course, for the one that had to exit previously. Ostroupen have been heavily suppressed, but there's more than one Ostroupen, as always, and he ventures out to take the fuel.
Lovenest is going to be... I think he's going to build the T-34. When it comes out, it's so crucial. The T-34 just focuses on wiping frontline units, forcing the retreats, and just allowing Lovenest to get some kind of map dominance, specifically on the fuel front. Then, actually, the fact that he's got tier 4, like, Devon has now gone tier 4 as well. Just building Panzerwerfer.
A Panzerwerfer, you would only see that on Famenville approachable, short, stubby man. Panzer 4 right now, talking about Panzers. He's not worth it, he's trying to survive behind the garrison. The M42's got a great shot off on him. So Lovenest splits said AT guns and gets both angles on the stricken tank, forcing him to reverse away. Great AT gun control by your German legend there. Doesn't fire a shot in waste. He knows when he can't get the overshot in the attack ground and starts to get his AT gun out of there. But oh my, Stormers, here it is. The Panzerwerfer. Rocket artillery, ready to fire.
I think this is a really good choice. mainly because of the distance that Lovenest is to his base constantly. I mean, he's going to be clumped. He's not got any field presence. So actually, if Devem just times it, waits for the retreat, he could just land the Panzer from the base.
That would be wonderful. Of course, on Fameover, you can get behind this. Oh, we've just had a loss, by the way, of the Dushka, but he's going to pick it up really quick. And he's just going to go in. He's going to go in. He's going in on the central garrison, the Dushka. Oh dear, oh dear.
That was a terrible Panzerwaffe shot.
Awful.
Really awful. And why would you fire from this range? I'm sick of saying it's a top level play, but the the barrage is a lot tighter when you're closer.
Oh dear, oh dear. I tell you
Come
what,
on.
if I would not want, if I was a coach, I'd want Devem to play in my 1v1 elite level mega tournaments. But if I was a 4v4 casual player, I'd take him off Panzerwerfer duty immediately. Devem, you're fired. You're now building fuel caches for the next 3 months. I'm ever so sorry. You're on fuel cache construction duty.
Yeah, like the first shot with the Panzerwaffe, when you have map control like that, you shouldn't be firing from the base. You should be firing from up close. That being said, though, I actually think this is a pivotal moment in the game. The T-34 is about to come in from Lovenest, and I'd say actually it's a bit of a tipping point, because I'd say that Lovenest's composition is very credible right now to deal with what Devem has. If Devem is knocked off of his fuel resource, he's going to struggle to get a counter up. If he's going for Panther, he's going to struggle to get that out in a good time.
Yes. T-34 76mm makes his way into the centre, and he's spoilt for choices here. Panzerwerfer could have the worst existence of any vehicle in a top level tournament game of all time. One terrible barrage and instant death. That would be hilarious. Could you imagine?
I could imagine. It nearly happened.
Exactly. You need to make much of a leap. It didn't nearly happen. Got 3 LMGs on the Ostrupen. All operational right now and getting back onto the field.
I point out, by the way, we saw no AT in this game from Devem. There's no Pack 40.
The Panzer Grenadiers were going one by one to pick up the gun, and each one got assassinated. That famous, the gun cycle. They were just like taking it in turns. I'll go, I'm dead. Wilhelm will go, he's dead.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Take it that happened on your screen as well, then.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It reminded me of those old war films where they're trying to sneak a squad past a sniper and they're like, "You go!"
Oh, he's gone closer up this time. He's learning, and that's
Finally.
very dangerous.
That is why you fire the Panzerwerfer at close range, because it
Devem-
actually will wipe the squad. That's
He
good.
read the tooltip, Stormless. He read the tooltip. It's like, oh, okay, that's how it works. Great, great.
Our sector.
In all seriousness, no. I actually am impressed by what I'm seeing right now. I think Devem maybe made a bad teching choice with the Panzerwerfer here. It's allowing a bit of time for Lovenest to get back in. Let's not blank out, though. Lovenest hasn't had a chance to get on top of the VPs in this game. He's still struggling with fuel. Even at this moment right now, he hasn't actually got a fuel territory of his own. He's relying on those strategic points. So, it hasn't been a particularly great game thus far for Lovenest. However, I think right now, if we were to see an Su-85 and Lovenest keep his vehicles alive, he's the dominant player. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
That's a good shout. We've had somebody in chat ask, what is Devem's next tank? Well, has he got enough anti-tank to keep up with Lovenest? I'm saying Panther. I've heard Stormless mention it at least once. Ostrupen very fortunate to survive there, but Panther would be the logical decision. Look at his infantry composition. He does have Panzerschrecks on one of his Panzer Grenadiers, but no Pack 40s whatsoever.
It is possible for him to select Brumba. I think, it's... We saw him pick it in the last game against this to deal with the infantry, but you're in a world of pain if Lovenest goes for that Su-85.
He's already gone for an anti-infantry option in Tier 4, hasn't he? The Panzer Grenadier. So I would say Pack 40 is vaguely safer. M42.
He needs AT.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Here we go. Here's the third Verth. What's it worth? Not much. That's a new game show, isn't it?
How much is it worth?
How much is it? Verth.
Enemy is
Yes.
taking our territory.
In our dystopian nightmare game show, we have people standing in a field, and we have a World War II vintage Panzerwerfer firing rockets at them. The prize is survival. Not to get too Takeshi's Castle on this. You're thinking I'm Alan Partridge pitching TV ideas here. Lynn!
Yes.
Another TV idea. What's it worth?
Oh, man.
DevM's going for a Panther, of course.
Oh. These mines. We talk about these mines. Whenever you see Loveness play, it's like, you know, by the way, low health house.
I saw that. He jumped in and out. He was like, nope, I'm going to hit this wall instead. Bad idea.
We'll be doing that with the T-34 around. But, yeah, actually, you know, Loveness in these mines, every spare second he gets, you know, he's always planting mines, tripwire flares. It is the bane of the Axis player, although I think actually Ostrupen probably one of the better commanders to deal with the constant mines being triggered. Loveness just builds in the same place. I love this.
We've got railway artillery support. Target was up north, takes out the Dushka, and the rest is just pyrotechnics. Unless the T-34 That's beautiful, though, isn't it? Let's just watch one cinematic. I'm sorry, guys. Just let's appreciate Relic's artistry. It's very pretty, isn't it? Look at that. That's beautiful. And back to your regularly scheduled programming.
I'm reminded of a poem by Baldric.
Historians as well. Indeed.
Well, as we anticipated, it was the choice of the Panther for DevM, and it was the choice of the Su-85 for Lovenest. I would actually say at this point, Lovenest has just taken a lead in this build. DevM's going to have to get some really good shots off from the Panzerwerfer, but we're just at that stage now. The conscripts are getting to Veteran C3. I think they're going to start scaling above the Ostrupen. And the key part of this game is just mines. As soon as one of those tanks triggers the mines, you bet that Su-85 is going to be there.
By the way, guys, we just did see the T-34 did get a friendly kill on the conscript on retreat, just an FYI. Panther rams the building there. Oh dear, oh dear. And, yeah, Stormus, I don't disagree as long as the Su-85 can attain veterancy. I always think the Su-85's...
Wait for it. I'm calling that Panzer IV, which is right next to that mine. I'm waiting for it, but
close,
it didn't happen.
Did go backwards rather than forwards, so it's a classic play. The Panthers lying in ambush, much like Panther tanks had to in Western France after the Americans and British and Canadians had invaded. They're pretty much useless in the open due to American air superiority. So they like constantly, you know, paint them as a bush or indeed an M10 tank destroyer, an elephant, anything to disguise the tank, which is currently out of disguise and getting 18-aided and shot in the back. Why is every shot penetrating? This Panther should have great frontal armor.
Whilst all of that was going on, it's great play from my Lovenest. He just pulls the M42 back a little bit in order to save it from a bundle grenade. You can just hear, by the way, in the comms, the enemy down to 200 points. That's Lovenest, of course, 200 VPs. And now look at this Panther trying to get out of here. Where is the recon? It's coming from the conscripts.
Oh, this is Oh, rear armor shots for days, and the T-34's there to finish the job. However, 2 shots bounce, but then the salvo finishes it. It was the M42 getting the kill of all things. Meanwhile, we've had squads die elsewhere. The Panzer IV's just hit a mine in the north. However, he should be safe because all the anti-tank weaponry is elsewhere. T-34 is now up against the MG in the house. We've had wipes on all the weaponry. Can DevM capitalise in any way?
I think DevM's in trouble here. You see the Su-85 is now going over to deal with the Panzer IV. It's going to be easy pickings, and there's just nothing really to contest the T-34. Even with a Faust here, there's nothing there because DevM did not invest in AT in this game other than the Panzerschrecks.
Where's that Panzerwerfer? It must have wiped, I guess, some of the AT guns. What did it do with its last salvo? It was fairly recently. Oh, can he get one AT gun here? But he's under duress from the conscripts, but they are suppressed. He could gain an M42 and get the kill. Surely that's the option here from DevM. He's gaining reconnaissance. He's got Panzerschrecks as well. He could finish the tank off here. Here come the Panzerschrecks, Stormus.
Yep, that's It's a really good play there from Devem. Takes down the T-34. Su-85 in a world of trouble trying to chase down the Panzer IV. Just trying to get out of the vision range. It's really tense engagement.
Tiny bit of elevation. However, the Panzer IV also misses. This duel to the death. Is it one? Is the ammunition alight? No, he has one piece of health. Su-85 misses the attack round through the hedgerow. This, literally, a gust of wind can kill that tank. But indeed, the Su-85 gets the attack ground and finishes the job. What a duel on Faymanville approach.
That was incredible to watch and so tense because there just weren't any units there to come and deliver a tiny Faust that would have dealt with that Su-85. And Loveness just clings onto this, you know, after having a little bit of a win. He's still so far down on map control, under 100 VPs now. This is so much pressure for Loveness. Here's the Panzerwerfer
at close range. Dusker in peril. Can't retreat fast enough. Still alive somehow. One guy is. He's going to have a horrible tale to tell, isn't he? As he pushes that huge machine gun back to base.
It's so tough. You know, Loveness couldn't even repair his Su-85 because those units are so needed on the VPs right now. And I think the best Loveness is going to be able to do at the moment is just keep them neutralized. Devem is so prepared on the right-hand side as well. He's going to be able to force a retreat on conscripts with an MG42. Look at the center right now. Look at that HMG.
Heard a great comment from chat there. Labad, Draken, Devem earned this, and I can't disagree. I think he's played excellently in this game. A little bit scrappy at times, especially with the Panther. But other than that, his overall aggression and presence of mind has been fantastic. He's simply outplayed Loveness at times.
He's definitely showing the marks of someone who's done their homework. Rear armor is going to be on this Panzer IV, that's the T-34. It's just nothing to back it up, no snares at the moment, just desperately trying to defend the VP. Of course, look at Devem though, he's just got the machine gun positions all over, and it's going to require the T-34 actually. The T-34's got to go and deal with those machine guns. There's no indirect fire for Loveness.
Suppressed Panzer Radius can't of course help the Panzer IV, but Devem's currently, this is Panzerville, let's keep an eye on it. Oh, anticipates the path of the Dushkin, forces him back to base. Devem's currently got double victory points. Loveness got 58 and dropping. This looks like a surefire route to victory for the Portuguese player.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
What's that T-34 doing? That's really what's happening here. He's trying to crush, I think, at the same time as...
However, the Su-85 got the shots as the T-34. Great trap sprung by Loveness. Meanwhile, in the centre, he's got rid of an MG. He could push in with the combat engineers now, but showing a little bit of rustiness, perhaps. Yes, he finally does it, but a little bit slow to the take. He has to keep every victory point alive, because one big push from Devem could seal the deal. What's this T-34 thinking? How did he survive that?
No idea. We're actually seeing anti-tank Overwatch as well come in. On the VP on the left-hand side. I think Loveness maybe just anticipating that something is coming. When you look at the field right now, you're like, Loveness has 2 fighting vehicles, Devem doesn't, but where is this game going? The VPs are still trickling down, and it is 35 VPs. Look at how much Loveness has to come back in this game to win. But he has the right build right now.
He does. 7-man conscripts, all of which are veteran C3. They can sit in a victory point and take it. We do have a great competition from Devem as well. Players 71 pop cap and 54 pop cap apiece. He just 18-8'd the Panzerwerfer. From a very long range there.
We have been reduced to 25 points. Failure is not rewarded.
He has to go and cap the southern victory point though, and he's got 24 victory points with which to do it.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting game. Well, I think we'll see the 2 VPs for Loveness easily if we can get the T-34 repaired. There's another one incoming as well.
Oh,
I mean, what are the Osttruppen gonna do? Yeah, like,
I tell you,
they've got some AT guns, but
It's
Wow.
a seemingly insurmountable lead for Devon, but you just do not know what happens with Company Heroes, and also the psychology of Company Heroes. If you think that it's your right to win a game due to the great work you've done in the first 30 minutes, Company of Heroes and your opponent have other ideas, and they will conspire against you to rain on your parade, and that's exactly how it works. And you can have a snowball effect where your opponent just needs a couple of good wins, and all of a sudden, the game will eke away from you.
It's actually we've seen games go terribly at this point. You would think that Devon can just play it safe right now and hang back and get some of his armor back up, but that isn't the case. When your opponent has 19 VPs, you feel this intense desire to rush up the map and take everything you possibly can. That would be a nightmare right now.
Loveness just needs to consider that the count may be going against him, but that does not mean he has to give up. He can do whatever it takes to stay in this game right now. Fires into the centre, onto the retreating path of the various units and the Dushka, causing all kinds of problems.
Really good play there. We just see the T-34 in the north clearing that huge building where the MG42 is residing, covering that eastern VP. That's going to be able to be captured now by these conscripts. It's drawing DevM over to that side of the map, which is beautiful. And just, can you imagine if a triple cat came in for Loveness right now?
Oh, what a crush! What a crush indeed! That was horrendous. That was carnage. Just like something from Grand Theft Auto, but the T-34 might pay for it with its life. Indeed it does. It was a summary execution of crimes against humanity.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
It's actually quite a shame for Loveness that the two T-34s were one of the winning combinations here. To lose that despite picking up the Austrian squad is not worth it, I think.
Yeah, indeed not. I mean, at least it was a veteran of 3 LNG, but he doesn't actually have the fuel to keep rebuilding here. He still has one of his T-34s currently just sitting in the centre, and of course an MG42 that was stolen on the central victory point. That's not a bad option. However, he repositions at the exact wrong moment. Grenadiers could throw a cheeky bundle on retreat. They see it a little bit late. Panzerwerfer is ready to fire again. Must have Veterancy. Indeed, it does. Veterancy too. Its barrages will be coming thicker and faster.
This is a really tense game. And not that long ago, DevM had like a sizable lead of an army. When you looked at it, you know, there was like a clear... there were more units for DevM, and now you're looking at it and suddenly the squad wipes have started coming in, and that's risky. He's going to go for a Panther, and we know that there are mines all over the field at the moment from Lovenest, mines which need to be swept by the Pioneers from DevM. But you know, let's have a look. We have anti-tank Overwatch for Lovenest. We can build up munitions. There's the counter. If it's
right, well, artillery. This Dushka's going to get hit in the face. It's going to retreat into it. Watch this. Oh, okay. Not quite in the face, but in the elbow. It's certainly painful. DevM just, what he has to do, it's kind of a fine art. He needs to keep Lovenest engaged, yes, but also he needs to prepare for one almighty push. So it's almost like a fine art of balance. You've got to keep your opponent not like gaining the map control to plant mines everywhere. Keep them busy. All the while, get all of your units fully health, get your Panther out, get your M42s that were stolen in position, and then just go for it. Finish the job. And he's got to do that. Nice work from the Panzerwerfer, by the way. This thing's got 29 kills now. Certainly made up for lost time.
now seeing the Panther arrive. Second Panther of the game. And not 100% sure on the choice, to be honest. Revealed itself now.
T-34's going in. What's he thinking here? SU-85's had good spotting at least, but the Panzer Kampfwagen 5 will finish the job with that assassin. No! That's a rare feat for a Panther not to get a kill at range like that. Usually they snipe tanks for days.
I'm not liking where this is going. Why is the SU-85 allowed to...
Oh dear. In that focus sight mode he has set his own grave. Oh dear indeed. The Panther cannot miss from within the tank, surely. Indeed it does not. One way to get the win is to drive inside the opponent's tank.
It's so crucial that this Panther goes down. T-34 is paused, trying to get... You know, he's just trying to make sure he got the accuracy, but no penetration. There's an M42 AT gun, but it can't be recruited easily because of a 3-man squad. Panzerwerfer wiping the Dushka there, but it looks like an MG42 is going to be reclaimed.
Very close to Veterancy 3 now. It's almost as... It's crazy, the idea from Loveness, but he actually escaped with the tank that shouldn't have escaped, the T-34, and then the poor Su-85, which was playing it safe, was the tank that died. Panther, of course, did escape with its life now. I believe it has one vehicle destroyed to its name.
Very tough. Yeah, actually, a lot rides now on the VP on the right-hand side. Loveness has access to anti-tank Overwatch. So if he can... He's trying to go for a grenade, an anti-tank grenade, so that he can use it. Although I think that would have removed his ability to use it. If he did, he wouldn't have the munitions to follow up on it.
This is bad for Loveness. Devem's capturing the central victory point. He does not want that. At the moment, it took Loveness to repair and reinforce those units meant Devem has captured the central ground. And if Revenge of the Sith taught me anything, is you don't want your opponent to have the high ground.
Loveness is getting really good at dodging Panzerwerfer shots now. It's almost as if he's attuned himself to the rhythm of the ability's recharge.
Oh dear, he's had to take 33 kills to the face in order to get attuned to the rhythm. But I suppose he's done it now at least. He's dodging them. Mine detonates there. Very advanced mine from Loveness. Would you expect anything else? Devem's struggling here. Loveness is capturing the centre after keeping the north. Devem's going forward yet again with Panzer Grenadiers. Low health against a T-34 stationary. He could... Oh, he did get the finishing touch though with the M42. I was berating him for that, but he had better ideas. Nice pickup.
Oh, that's it. We just saw the snare on the Panther. The Panther has to drive forward to get out of the circle. Look at the damage coming down from anti-tank Overwatch. It's huge. The T-34, I think, is going to go down here.
He is. The Panther's gone into combat to get out of danger. Very rare. He is a Panzerwerfer. Dodge this one, Loveness. MG's in a horrendous position. Panther's going to stay outside the circle of fire. Oh, the Panzerwerfer, though, goes into it. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
We'll call that a misplay.
Yeah, I think that was. That would have been hilarious if that died. Panzer forwards the next option from Devem. Loveness, meanwhile, is rebuilding his T-34, but it's looking bad for the German.
We are down to 300 points.
I don't think it's worth Loveness chasing this Panther right now. Probably best to get back to base. He'll ground attack, I think, through the...
Oh, and he gets it! Oh, it's not got that low health, sorry. I got excited for a moment. But I had less health than that somehow. Oh well.
Crazy game.
Panzerwerfer, by the way, is like 1 kill away from Veterancy 3, which is really hype. The rate of reload is crazy at Vet 3. Have a lull in activity for a moment. Let's quickly check the stats. We'll go to the graphs and check out the army values, which always tells an interesting tale. And of course, points held, the other useful graph, showing the ebb and flow of battle. Here's the fresh Panzer IV. Here's the fresh T-34. Stormless, the battle lines are drawn. Got 19 victory points remaining for Loveness. All to play for.
It's, I'm actually... Wow. Dushka just went down to the Panzerwerfer there. I'm just seeing, you know, diminishing options, diminishing routes for Loveness to win this. Got to be so tight on the VPs right now. One's about to be decapped in the east. And T-34 just doesn't really know where to go here. Fortunately, Loveness did manage to steal an M42, which was in the hands of Devem previously. But we really cannot see this victory point on the right capped.
No, and this could be the end of it. If this Panzer Grenadier, the one that just emerged from the bush, tags in, Conscripts are going to have to, yes, get a toe over the line. T-34's here to corral the squad into a crushable position. Panzer IV can't get quite there because the Ziskin was waiting. Excellent play by Lovenest. Really good stuff. Tell you what, when your back's against the wall, Stormless, and you're asked the big questions, that's when you find out if you're a champion or just a nearly ran. And Lovenest has proved more often than not that he has that champion's fighting spirit.
Or could we see the Panther and the Panzer IV here trying to dive on the T-34? I think Devem knows that that is just bedrock of Lovenest's comeback.
Gets a Verf off on the Ziskin. T-34's backing away. The tanks pursue. It's the march of the Panzers. Conscripts throw their lives on the line for the Rodina, offering themselves as a sacrifice to the dreads of the Reich.
Are there any mines around here that Lovenest can take advantage of? I'm trying to look, but I don't actually see any. This could be a
we've got
dead
the road
end.
bonus for the T-34 though. He's getting that speed that he has the need for. War's low on health there. We could have the Ziskin rescue this situation. What a game we're watching. These 19 victory points have been the hardest I've ever seen to capture. However, the Panzer IV's now down. The Panther remains alive. The T-34, by the way, is going on a summer holiday in a very distant location. Can Devem find him? Let's get on board, and with the fog of war as well. Oh, we just seen a tree get collapsed. If he saw that tree, he could go hunting for the Panzerwerfer. He's going to get it! Oh, nice! With his last action, he misses! What are you doing, Lovenest?
What happened there?
Stand still. We had a mine go off on the Panther. T-34 may survive yet, though. But oh dear. We had, was it an AT gun or something took him out? Oh, who shouted AT gun destroyed there? I think it was in my right channel somewhere.
Yeah, it was in the north. It was in the north.
Panzerwerfs the garrison at low health, causing one of the models to spin inside, if you saw that. So close to death. Somebody got a really long-range kill on that thing. I don't know who it was.
We have lost an MGT.
Anyway, back to Victory Point City. Lovenest begins to bleed down. The conscripts and combat engineers march forth. We've got an MG now setting up to offer suppression. And the Ostrupen stand where they die.
Enemy is taking our territory.
Wow, he had to retreat both squads up the center there. At this point, I'm not sure he can win. I'm not sure he can actually get back on the point in time. When the T-34 comes out, I'm talking seconds here to wipe that MG42 and get conscripts in. I don't think he can do it. I actually don't think the time is there.
I always
Maybe even
think
consider.
We are losing
Sorry, dude.
the
I
sector.
always think it's amazing when players fight to the last bitter moment. It shows that competitive spirit. And we're like two brave boxers battling to the last and final bell. There was no capitulation here from Lovenest, but the writing is certainly on the wall for all observers to see as his conscripts die in misery. As there's 2 victory points tick down to 0. We see Devem, your upper bracket champion, and Lovenest goes down, deeper on down into Last Chance Saloon. GG, well played.
Welcome back, everyone. That was an absolutely amazing game 3. What a series! What a series! Seriously, to see Devem win game 1, play mechanized as USF so well, to see Lovenest play defensive tactics from Soviets and win game 2, and then that last game could have gone on forever. It felt like, and it really was on a knife edge, like at least 3 or 4 times. And you could definitely tell that Devem felt the pressure in that one, despite being like 300 VPs ahead of his opponent in the later stages of the game. So what a fantastic series, seriously, and just a pleasure to cast. amazing to both of those players. If you are watching this or watching this back, like, thanks to you guys. GG.
Big thanks to the refs in chat, such as Stern Panther, reminding us to check out the brackets and be aware of other things happening. We've seen the epic drama of our series. Let's check out some of the others and go over to them now. As you can indeed see that our semi-finals are taking place in the upper bracket. We have Asiaman waiting for the winner of Nagano versus Von Asten. We have Devem confirmed to be playing Isildur tomorrow. And in the lower bracket, you can see, of course, Love Nest is versus Koz. Stylized in upper caps. He's formerly known as Tiramisu. It's actually an interesting kind of wordplay based on his real-life name. Ashablar versus Kimbo. Kimbo's gone down to the lower bracket. Interesting. Well, our first... one of our first seeding upsets there. I think Devem Love Nest was a seeding upset. But who did Kimbo fall to? Asiaman. Okay,
Asiaman.
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Asiaman's a badass. Cool. It's looking good. It's looking really good.
What a tournament, actually. You know, just a great lineup. Isildur in that series with Von Ivan, apparently 2-0 up, I think is... you look at Isildur, I think, is he the only... No, Nagano also possibly could be... maybe, you know, we don't know what the score is going to be in that, but, you know, just a 2-0 in the quarterfinals, I think is very impressive. I, at this point, would be expecting most top-level players to be winning a game each and then having a deciding ace game. Isildur clearly very, very much on form and someone to watch.
We do have 800 odd viewers joining in, so it's probably a good time for some plugs. But the best way to do plugs, obviously, watch the slides of the break. But we will give a good shout out before we go. It's Sega's 60th birthday. They're the publisher. They actually fund this almighty event, so big thanks to them, of course. And Stormless, let's go and talk about what we want to do next. We were thinking about doing another series, but let's see what that series is. And yeah, we'll be back with the viewers soon.
Good idea. See you guys around.